Hey guys, guess what? I do not like to play. I do
Mm.
not play. However, today's guest and his service showed me how, and I loved it.
Hi, I'm Kim Wilson,
And I'm Natasha Marchewka.
and this is Speechless. Welcome to our behind the scenes take on real life in VO, where we share our stories and our resources and our unsolicited opinions. Boy, do we have a fun one today.
Hey, we sure do. We have DC Newman here. He has created Pop Up VO. It's not a workout, it's not improv, but it's all those things. Super fun. We really wanted you to hear about it. Watch the show.
Speechless. Speechless.
Hi, DC. We're so happy to have you here today. We're all laughing a little because there was a mishap with a drink in a booth. Like, so what did you bring to drink today, DC?
I've gone boring. I live in the desert, so I drink a lot of water. So I have chilled water
Ah,
That sounds
well,
lovely.
it's smart.
It is.
with a
It
Yeah,
is.
lockable top. So because I'm clumsy.
Um,
right. Well,
Please
speaking
note,
of,
please note, Natasha. No,
yes.
I am actually boring today too. I usually bring a nice alcoholic drink. It's a little early here on the East Coast. I have something called Rambler. It is a mineral sparkling water from
Mm.
Texas.
Hmm.
Well, I'm taking a note from Aya Mariyama, who was on our
Ooh.
show like quite a while ago, and
Yes.
I finally bought some tart cherry juice, which is so healthy.
Mhm.
However, you can see the glass is half full because I spilt this much of it in my studio.
Well,
Yay.
cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here, DC. I'm so excited.
Yeah. hmm
Mm.
My first question, though, before we get into your incredible service that you offer, is tell everyone about your background so they really know who you are as we get going here.
It has been quite the varied journey to get here.
Mm, mhm. As
Uh,
it is.
I tend to look at it as I've had a short attention span professional life. I've never done
Mm,
anything normal. I started in high school in radio back in the olden days with razor blades and actual tape for
In the
editing.
mhm,
1900s.
Yeah, back in the olden days, it feels like it some days. Uh,
mhm.
from there, I went into a couple of very niche jobs. I painted model railroad cars, which
As a
What?
job?
is a
That's a
job.
job?
Somebody gets to run the big printing press to put all the little tiny letters on the model railroad car. So 8 hours a day, I printed model railroad cars. Uh,
You're amazing. I've never met anyone that does that. Okay, keep
Oh,
going. Tell us what else.
I
From
wouldn't think there'd
there,
be
I
too
went
many
into
people.
technology. In 1994, I got a job with a little scrappy upstart in the internet world, America Online. I was one of the first 30 people they hired outside of their
What is this
office.
technology you talk of?
Yes, the interwebs and
The
stuff.
interwebs, right?
You
Uh,
worked at
Wow.
AOL?
I worked at AOL
That's
in the early
incredible.
90s when nobody thought we were going to do anything. And we did a
Wow.
lot of the stuff. I actually got to work on a lot of the stuff we use every day. Instant messaging. I was on that
No
team.
way.
Wow.
Neverwinter Nights, the kind of the first big online multiplayer game. Uh,
No, I don't, but I
web
believe it.
browsers, all those fun things. I was doing modem
Wow.
strings, so I was the guy who made the old school modems actually talk over the phone
Wow.
line.
Oh, I have a question. I have a question. You know that funny sound that goes ding dong, ding dong, ding dong when you first log in, the old AOL song?
Hmm.
What is that? Did somebody actually what is that? What is that
That
noise?
that was there before I started. That was a pre-existing condition on the service, and I never did find out the real story behind it. It
Is
was
it a natural noise?
no, I think it's something they put together in the media department
That's
that
a terrible idea.
you know they redeemed themselves when they got Tom Hanks to do "You've Got Mail"
They
movie,
did.
but great marketing.
Okay.
So
All
all
right.
in all, it worked out fairly well. So I did tech for a while, and then it got too corporate. So I went out on my own and did consulting, technical consulting, support new product testing, a lot of beta testing. And in between there, I did a whole bunch of other weird little jobs. I worked at a funeral home for about a year and a half as a service attendant, drove the
Wow.
Wow.
hearses, helped the families. You
Oh,
want,
that's
That's
you
such a
good
want,
special,
business.
that's a special job.
yeah, it's very
It
different.
makes a lot of money. It's
It
very
depends.
busy.
Yeah, there's death and taxes. And I'm not
Mhm.
good at math, so CPA was not really in the cards for me. Did that for a while. I ran a hobby shop for a friend of mine, took it from a little tiny 1,000 square foot corner of his big hardware store and turned
My
it
gosh.
into $1 million business.
How,
And
what have you not done?
uh,
Maybe we
fast,
start there.
fast food, never done fast food.
Okay.
I did work for about 2 weeks in a fine dining restaurant until we realized that there was a lot of shady stuff going on in the back that we didn't want to be involved in when there was a raid, which we knew was coming. So yeah,
Yeah, been there, done that.
kind of an
Got the
interesting,
t-shirt.
kind of an interesting career path, as it were.
Wow.
I
Well,
did
let's jump to what you're doing now, DC. At
well.
the end, at
I
the
got
very end, hang on, we're gonna tell our worst jobs at the end of the show. So you're
oh,
gonna I'll have to listen and watch for that.
oh,
Our
Oh.
first jobs and our worst jobs.
okay.
Ah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to reveal a lot. Okay.
So you, DC, only started in voiceover or when? I mean, you
I
did it a long time ago with radio.
I got back into the business in
Yeah,
2018.
18.
So January was my 12th anniversary, all in. All
Congratulations.
So I'm at 12. Officially, it's June. I'm at 12 and a half years now. Uh,
Fantastic.
so when I got back into 2018, I got back in because my daughter went to kindergarten. I did the stay-at-home dad thing after she was born, and then I realized she's going to kindergarten. She doesn't need me all the times during the day, so I need to, be a useful, productive member of society again.
Mhm.
And my wife went, "You should do voice work," because I didn't want to go back. I'd been doing graphic design before she was born, and it was fun because I did some work for the movie industry and some short one-off weird stuff. So I figured
Hmm.
English voice work. So I got back in and went into audiobooks because that was sort of the shortest,
Hmm.
lowest bar for entry, which is a
Hmm.
terrible thing to say, but it's true. You can sign up on ACX and just be an audiobook narrator. After 35 audiobooks, I realized that that was not really my happy place. I really wanted to get back into commercial. And yeah, I'm a little slow sometimes. If at first you don't succeed, try it again just to see if it was an anomaly. So I had fun in
That wouldn't have
audiobooks.
been a fun duration of your life and for your whole family.
You know,
I can't imagine doing audiobooks and not being like that special kind of person who can
well,
do audiobooks.
I will say audiobooks does one thing really, really well, and it gets you very fast and very proficient with your gear and your technology,
Ah.
as you
Hmm.
have to. It's
Hmm.
it's a really good way to get your processes down.
I kind of want to do audiobooks. I haven't done it yet, one yet, and I kind of would love
For
to.
real?
Yeah, to learn how to do it.
Stressful.
Absolutely.
Start
Stressful.
small. 2 hour, 3 hour audiobook. Those
Sure.
will get
Don't
you.
dampen my dream, people.
Hey, I did a 17-hour sci-fi audiobook with made-up
Oh.
names, made-up
Mm.
species, and 13th century armor and weapons technology. So it was a great time
Ah,
was had by all.
Really?
it's pretty cool.
It was
Really?
very complicated. It
Yeah.
was a very long.
But
Stressful.
you're a voice talent now, and you're
I'm,
very successful, and now you run this magnificent program, which I want you to tell us a little bit about, because this morning Natasha and I joined this, I don't know if it's called a VO pop-up,
Pop-up VO.
pop
pop-up
up. Yeah.
VO, and for lack of other description, it's sort of like a workout.
I tell people it's not a workout, it's not improv, it's not a workshop. It is unlike anything you've done.
And it was
It
like
is
unlike anything I've done.
it's a
And
skill stretching exercise. It's designed to stretch your skills and gently nudge you out of your comfort zone.
it was fantastic. It was incredible. I had the best time. It stretched us, it made us laugh, it made us me play, it made me uncomfortable.
But do
Uh,
you know what it took for me to get Kim to do it this morning? I,
A,
I
bri-
took
a bribe.
I took it a month ago, the pop-up VO session, like a month or more. And I'm like, okay, Kim, we have to have DC on the show. We have to explain Papa VO because everyone needs to do this. He's like, ugh, ugh, ugh.
Yeah. I was
Like,
like, oh,
we're
uncomfortable.
choosing
Oh,
this day together.
yes.
Do you have June 3rd? Yes, we record this
Ahead of time.
before we air it. June 3rd. This is the time. Be there. And
Yeah.
she's very good about commit. Once she commits, she commits. But oh God, I had to drag her.
She did, and I'm so glad she did. Well, but DC, more about you. What I want this morning, you talked a little bit in the workout about you had this experience with your voice acting coach,
Mhm.
and it helped you. I don't want to give it all away, but find an authenticity
Mhm.
within yourself that I feel is part of this story and how you brought this pop-up VO to the world. And I was wondering if you could share the story with us.
Sure. When I got back in, I did an audiobook course and I got into a larger program. And as part of that, I was doing one-on-ones with a coach on Zoom. So obviously a lot of pandemic stuff going on. In the middle of a session, we're working a script for my first demo. And he kept stopping me. No, 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 stop. That's not what I want. All right, what do you want? We went back and forth a couple times, and finally, with a little hint of exasperation, and I know where it came from a very good place, he went, just be you. I don't want anything special, just be you. And in that moment, the proverbial light bulb, I'd say the light bulb went off, but really the light bulb broke. Something snapped, and I realized I didn't know what that meant. Because every job I've ever had prior to, there's been a persona that goes with that job. In radio, you're a character. Even if you're doing talk radio, you're still a character because who you are on the air is not who you are with your family.
Yeah.
Here, everybody wants authenticity. Everybody wants the real you. And I realized I didn't know how to do that in the context of work,
I
which
love that quote.
Me too.
it was
Yeah.
scary, you know? And
It's very scary because everyone just says, relax, be yourself. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, well,
that is really hard to
being
do.
you is the hardest thing, I think.
Totally.
Keep going.
The imperfection, because a lot of we're not perfect. As
Yeah.
much as we'd like to claim on social media, we are. We're
Yeah.
not. Everybody has flaws, which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of social media, but that's a whole different discussion.
That's another show, by the
Yeah,
way. Okay.
that's a 7-part series.
Yeah.
I had that big thing, and I had to stop. We took some time, and I had to figure out who I was or who I needed to be in the context of work. And I wanted to be authentic, but I wanted to be authentic in a way that felt as cheesy as it sounds authentic to me because I'm an introvert, like a lot of us in the business are, and I don't share much of my personal life with the business world. And a lot of that stems back to the radio. I got threats. My girlfriend at the time, who's now my
Mm.
wife, got threats. That
Oh
was sort
my
of the
God.
bridge too far. So my privacy and keeping my family safe is hugely important, especially now in the age of the internet. It's
Uh,
what you can find on the internet. So I have a firewall between my personal life and my work life. So how do you be authentic and how do you be you while still sort of protecting the things that are important? And it took me a little while to figure that out. But when I
mm,
did, I realized that number one, I was trying to shove my square pegness into the round hole of the business, and I was trying to do things the way I saw everybody else in the business doing things. And I realized
Mm.
that's not going to work for me because that is not authentically me.
Mhm.
So I realized, I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. The folks that I'm the right fit for, I'm the only fit for. And that's not arrogance, that's just a fact. I have a set of experience, I have a set of skills, I have a particular worldview that works in specific situations. And if it's not right for you, that's okay. No harm, no foul.
I think everyone has that same byline, right? We just have to find it for ourselves.
Yep. And it's a different path for everybody.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people asking, well, how did you get there? Well, you probably don't want to take the method I took because melting in front of a coach is
Same.
a little awkward because again, we're embarrassed. We're a little fearful. We don't want to be that. We want to be vulnerable, but we don't want to be that vulnerable.
Right.
sometimes. And it is, it's a heck of a way to get there. I don't regret it though. That's kind of the theme. My daughter, a slight side trip. My daughter was born 11 weeks premature. She was very small. And
Oh,
I've had a lot of people ask, if you could do it all again and have everything normal, would you? And I told them no, because the 2 months we spent with her in the NICU sort of reinforced who I am and how I approach things. I wouldn't trade that for anything, even though it was really stressful and really difficult. It's it's part of our path, and changing that would change who I am. And I'm pretty happy with who I am right now. I'm pretty comfortable with it. So
Wow. Geez, I need a
wow.
drink. I wish I put
Uh,
champagne in here.
so
Mm.
tell us a little bit more about being authentically you and making mistakes and the wrong choices and all that
And
fun
how it
stuff.
relates to pop-up VO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
I,
think the first title of Pop-Up VO wasn't Pop-Up VO, was it?
oh, well, I started with pop-up VO and I had structured it like a pop-up restaurant. We had 3 courses, but my original tagline was make terrible choices and run
Yes.
with them.
Make terrible choices and run with them. That is what I'm loving.
I love I love the concept of failure. As an individual, I don't like to fail because failing kind of stinks. It's not fun usually. But I'm realistic in the sense that I understand that when I fail, I learn faster. The bigger the failure, the more I learn and the faster I learn it. So if I want to get somewhere new, the shortest path is taking big choices, making big leaps, and failing in big catastrophic ways. The exception there is if you want to get into skydiving, please take it slow, follow the rules. I like I like failure. I'm not afraid of failure, and I can look back
Mm.
at my whole professional career, and there's been a ton of things that I failed at. And I tell
We did a
people,
whole show on it.
I look back to Mythbusters. I loved
Oh, yeah.
Mythbusters. Failure is
Mhm.
always an option. I don't
Mm.
think it's always an option. I think failure is a requirement if we want to get better as
Yes.
individuals in our job and get better as
Yes.
people. Because we
Mhm.
fail in interpersonal things as well, and that's how we learn how to be better people. So I like failure. And I looked at the landscape of VO and what was out there. And there are workshops and there are webinars and there are classes and there are all these things devoted to helping us grow our skills. But there was nothing out there that I saw which was really built to let us fail quickly and have some fun doing it. And I realized I wanted something in my professional life that was fun, a little
Mm.
palate cleanser from all of the work and the reach out and the marketing and the stress and the perfection that we're sort of expected. Because when we're dealing with somebody important, whether it's casting folks or agents or clients, we're expected to be professional and we're expected to be on the ball and buttoned down and ready to go. Get in, do the job,
Mhm.
give them what they need, get out. Where's the
Mhm.
fun? This is a really fun
Mhm.
job. So I looked around, I couldn't find anything. And I went, I'm going to build this. I'm going to build something that I would like to go to. And I
Mm.
reached out to about 5 or 6 people and went, hey, could you pop on? I want to do something with you on Zoom. And didn't tell them much of anything. And we just went.
Mhm.
And they went,
Mhm.
oh, we got to do that again. We got to do that more. And I've been building it ever since. I want to say September, October this year will be the second full year that I've been doing it. So
Wow.
but
Congratulations.
it's kind of flying under the radar, primarily because it's
But now that it's on speechless,
now
oh
that it's on
boy,
speech.
you're just
It's
gonna get
yeah, we'll have to add more calls. It'll be fabulous.
YouTube is going to break, man.
the
I've broken people on the call, so breaking YouTube's totally fine. I'm good with that. It's for me, it's just me. I don't have anybody else working with me. I don't have anybody else hosting calls. So to a point, it needs to be smaller
Yeah.
Mhm.
because there's only one of me. And when I have clients, when I have auditions, I've got to get that done first. But it's a fun side trip. And I do want to, it's my way of giving back. As cheesy as it probably sounds, it's giving
Oh,
back a little bit to the community that is so giving. The whole VA
Mhm.
community is so amazing and so accepting of everybody in it. And I've never run into anybody so far that I can't just walk up and talk to. And that is
Mhm.
fairly unusual in the business
Mhm.
world, as it were.
Yeah.
I want to give back in my little way, and I'm doing it through fun.
One thing that I really appreciate about the whole pop-up VO is it's affordable.
Mhm.
You make it
Mhm.
affordable that everyone can do it every week if
Mhm.
they wanted to.
Mhm. Let's
Yeah,
get
I
down
mean,
to the
really.
nitty gritty.
Sure.
I know that DC, you like to keep it a secret. So when I dragged Kim into the Papa VO this morning, I didn't tell her what to expect. Now, it is kind of a workout. It is kind of improv, but it's different.
Yeah.
How much would you like to share with our audience about how it runs and what can we give them so they actually want to do it?
Well, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll give you a sort of a little bit of a tiny peek with behind the curtain without giving too much away.
Mhm.
Sure.
It's a 90-minute call. I charge $10 a call because I do want to make it
Mhm.
affordable for everybody. And that was really only after a whole bunch of people yelled at me because I was doing them for free. And they went, no, no,
Uh,
it's valuable. You got to do something with this.
Yeah.
It's structured in 3 rounds. We have script work, we have a cold read at the beginning, and then we do some games, and then we have a discussion at the end with some networking. Because by that point, the folks that are on the call all know each other. We've laughed together, we've had some fun, we've made some new friends. And in this business, a lot of it is who you know. So it's an opportunity to meet new people and play with new people in a safe space. And it's a terrible term that's been co-opted by a lot of people in the world today, but I truly want it to be a safe space. It's a
It is a safe
judgment-free zone.
space. It is.
We don't record, we don't laugh with you, or we don't laugh at you. We laugh with
Never.
you.
Yeah.
My brain, I talk for a living, but my brain is slow. We laugh with each other, and
Yeah,
part
we
of that is
do.
we all understand that we
Mhm.
could be next. We will be next. And there is an element of randomness built into the call. So even as the host, I truly don't know where we're going on any given call, which is what makes it
Mhm.
fun because you just have
Mhm.
to hang on and go for the ride.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
we're all kind of in it together and we're all kind of failing together and giving each other, encouraging each other and laughing and you've set it up so beautifully. There's no way to really shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't
Nobody
be perfect.
shines.
I built
No.
it
It's
deliberately so
wonderful.
you can't fall back on your go-to
Absolutely
perfect
not.
read. You
You
have to take
you
chances.
have to play.
And I will
Mhm.
say, without giving anything away, the group that we had today and every group that I've had is amazing because
Yeah.
everybody steps up, realizes in the first 5 minutes that you just take a risk and it's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing bad's going to happen. And everybody just goes for it. And it makes it so much fun.
Oh my
And
Everybody
gosh.
today,
supports each other.
yeah,
Yes.
everybody today was great. Everybody is supportive as they are on all of the calls. I have never once had anybody that I have not wanted to come back.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's
And that
nice.
is,
Good.
and to me, that's huge because there's always that one person. Yeah, we don't want
Usually,
that.
yeah.
Everybody plays along and everybody buys into the premise. And part of it at the very beginning is not really knowing what you're getting into, knowing that it will help you build your skills. It will help you build your confidence because you have to make a choice and go with it. And there's a level of confidence that goes with that. And it brings some joy back in. Now,
Mhm.
It
Kim,
did.
you were on your first one today.
Yeah.
Natasha's been there twice. This was her second one. Even having been before, you had a general idea of sort of where we were going, but you didn't know what was going to happen.
Mm-mm.
Different every time. And the
Yeah.
Mhm.
butterflies are still there.
Of
There's
course.
there's butterflies on every call. Everybody's a little nervous, a little hesitant. I've got folks that have been doing it for over a year that come back and they're like, I still get nervous every time when we sit down and start. And then I
Yeah.
realize this is fun. I love doing this. Let's just
You're It might be because of your radio background, but you're a wonderful host and leader and
Yes.
facilitator.
Yes.
It's so smooth and everybody this workout improv, not workout improv, is so complex in terms of how many balls he's juggling in the air. You're gonna try this, and you're gonna try this, and you're gonna try this, and You're very graceful at the whole process, and it makes it even more fun and relaxing, etc. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Kim, did you want to say something before we go to a
I
break?
just was going to say, you're in the mud with us. You
Mhm.
take the
Yeah.
chances and you make the fool of yourself, and we're all together. So it's not like you're like, go ahead, guys, let me just watch.
Yeah, I'm not standing on the sideline. No, it's
You're
not dance
definitely
monkey.
you're down in the mud with us, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to remind you what the website is. You can go there while we do a promo and you can ignore us, or you can go after the show, but it's popupvo.com. So go to popupvo.com. We're going to do a quick break. We throw to our sponsor. We'll be right back. So everybody popping in here for our speechless promo. Today it's about our sponsor, The Vorg. There is a new issue out. They love to say, we've got issues. I think it's hilarious. They have paper copies. They also have digital copies. It's the Voiceover Resource Guide. You can get to them vorg.net or voiceoverresourceguide.com. They have a paper
Invaluable.
copy, but they also have online copies. So there's
Mm.
resources. We love them for so many reasons. So go to their website, buy a copy. They'll plant a tree or check it out online for free. Back to the show. Okay, we're back. I'm just teasing Kim because in the workout this morning, I'm going to share DC that one of the things that he might throw in there is a tongue twister. And Kim's like, oh, I can't do this. I'm nervous. I get nervous. Kim did it to perfection. So now I don't believe her anymore when
I don't
she's like,
know.
Flawless.
oh, I get nervous. Sure, Kim. I get tongue tied. Sure, Kim.
Flawless execution this morning. It was
I don't know
beautiful.
how. I don't know
Well,
how. I was
I want
possessed by something, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I want to share a couple of things. One is when you go to the website to explain it to everyone and make it super simple, you just go to popupvo.com and then there's, you check on where the times are or sign up or what have you. You don't have to commit right away, but you get to see the upcoming dates. So it's kind of all over the map. Well, not really all over the map, but the dates only come up, what, a month before or so, or 6
Yeah,
weeks
about a
before?
month in advance. Yeah.
And there are newbie times and there are pro ones. So you can choose. It might be morning, it might be night, so there's lots to choose from. You just look at them and choose. And there's only 6 people per group, except for the newbies. How many do you have in the newbie
Newbie
group?
nights have up to 12 people.
Cool.
Fun.
Yeah. So
Little
go to
less
that
intimidating.
website if you
And
didn't
when you
yet.
say newbie, you don't mean new to the group. You mean new as a voice talent.
Yeah, I usually say first 1 to 3 years in the business. You're sort of
Great.
getting your feet on the ground, figuring out what you're doing. Uh, really, newbie nights are simplified. I don't I don't stack things. The games are a little simpler, so it's less intimidating, less complex.
Sure.
Because like Natasha said, the pro calls, we go deep occasionally. Um, about every quarter, I do a special call. I did an April Fool's call where every round was totally random. I built a special spinner wheel to select what we were going to do for every round.
I want to do that one.
I did I did a pros after dark last month that was a not safe for work night. So everything was a little spicy, a little suggestive, a little saucy, and it was absolutely hysterical. We had so much fun on that one because there's a lot of copy that can take on a totally different meaning depending on how you read it. And we had a lot of fun with that. And I'm always building new things. I've added 2 new wheels this year, 2 new games this year, and I've got, I think, 3 more games sort of in the works that I haven't quite nailed down yet.
Awesome.
So even doing 1 call a month, you're not going to get the same games. You're not going to have
Yeah,
the
that's
same
awesome.
experience. So
Yeah.
That
Well,
is
I want
fun.
to share, going into it, my fears and then what I received. And then, Kim, I want you to share as well.
Sure, sure.
So, one thing I say about myself, and it's not a great thing to say, I suppose, is that I don't play. I do not like to play. I don't know how to play. Well, I do like board games, but in terms of life in
Womp
general,
womp.
like, yeah. And Kim's like, come on, have some fun kind of thing. Speechless, I like to play, but it's not my MO. I'm pretty serious, unless you know me. Anyway, long story. Don't like improv. afraid of improv. Huge fear of improv because I like to put my best foot forward. I like to be, I don't want to say perfect, but perfect. I, I don't want to say something stupid. I spent a lot of my life saying things that were stupid, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm not into improv. And so what I receive out of this, to be honest, act like I'm nervous, and I'm a little bit nervous, but for the most part, I'm like, bring it on, because it is such an safe, it's not recorded. These people, they know what you're going through. And so it just gives me, I'll just let it all hang out. I really appreciate the relaxed space and the fun. I I have to tell you today, I don't always do this, but I chose an intention for today, and it was to have fun. Because I knew we were doing all this today. And it's a good goal to have every so often, right? To
Well,
just have fun.
Natasha, I have to say that I saw you having fun, and that was really fun for me, to see you relaxed and enjoying yourself in a safe space. So
Yeah,
that's really wonderful. Yeah. And
cool. Well, what did you think going in, Kim?
so for me, a truth for me is usually when I'm put on the spot, I tend to be flooded, and you know when you're in a job
Deer in
interview and
headlights.
somebody asks you a question and you go, "Whoa, I have no idea what you just said." That's where I go. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. Do I really want to expose that part of myself? What if that happens? It doesn't always, but if it does, how do I
It
react?
didn't.
And it didn't happen because everyone was so warm. And there's also not time for that to happen.
Well, I mean, you're a trained professional. So you just stepped up to the plate and you didn't have to think, actually. I think
yeah,
that's what it comes down to, right?
yeah.
DC, you
Absolutely.
don't think, you just do. And so those tongue twisters we happen to do today, which you won't always bring to the table, but we did today. We just ripped those out, and normally we would, tongue twisters can be sing-songy, right? We have a planner, if anyone doesn't know. It's called the Speechless Planner, and it's full of tongue twisters to
It
practice. But
is.
you notice when you do a tongue twister, there's da 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 da. And today we just read the words straight and we got through them. It was a great exercise,
It was. It was
and we
fun.
didn't think. But
Yep.
I really noticed there was no sing-songiness
I
in
think
our
we were
tongue
just like so
twisters.
like sweating it out. Like, get those words out.
We
Well,
did great. We're
here's
trained.
here's the interesting thing. It sounds kind of silly. It sounds like a fun, frivolous thing to do, but there is a parallel in what we do every day. Because how many times have you gone into a directed session and the engineer
Mhm.
goes, "Hey, do you have the latest copy of the script?" And your response is, "What latest copy of the script?"
Exactly.
And
Hello?
they email it to you. They're like, "All right, let me know when you've got it." You pull it up. You're like, "All right, I've got it." They're like, "All right, and we're rolling." Don't have a chance to
I
panic.
actually love that. I do love that.
I hate that. I'm like,
Well,
oh
you're
my
good.
God.
Stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. And it's trusting your skills. It's trusting that
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
when we trust more and think less, it's so much nicer. Our
Yes.
We're more authentic, we're more connected, we're more real when we just
Mhm.
own it and do it rather than think. I'm an overthinker. I'm a data guy. Let me make
Mm,
a spreadsheet. I'm not a big spreadsheet guy, but give me a bunch of data and I'll collate it and I'll figure out the best way forward. But
mm,
no, just jump. Just go.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I use the pop-up every week as an opportunity
Mm,
to remind myself that I don't have to overthink it.
It's
It's
wonderful.
spontaneity is so nice to
mm,
have. And the trust in yourself sort of pushes the fear away a little bit.
mm.
So you can just step
Uh-huh.
up and go, I can do this. I do. This is
Yeah.
what I do. This is my thing. I can do this. Stand back and bask in the awesomeness. And you just do it. You don't
Yeah.
overthink it. So,
Kim and
And
I are huge overthinkers. And I teased her this morning because as soon as she got on the call this morning, she was like making notes. And it's not about making notes,
yeah,
it's
I
about just
was.
being
I
present. And
was.
she was like, okay, then I do improv. And we're gonna do this like
I'm going to have
yeah.
to add to the website, please wear pants, no notes.
Yeah, don't make notes.
Put that on there.
I was like, step 1, step 2, don't get it wrong, Kim.
Well, and I try to keep it moving quickly, so there isn't a lot of time to do that. And
Yeah.
No.
to your point earlier, Natasha, I try to be a little bit of a host and a little bit of a ringmaster because it is kind of organized chaos,
It is.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's the fun of it. And
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't notice today, I'm mostly making it up as I go, and that
Well, it
keeps
doesn't seem
that
like it. You
that
are.
No, it's
Mm.
wonderful.
I've got a framework, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you stick to.
I sort of I move where the group takes me because every group is a little different, and I
Sure,
try
the
to tailor.
Okay.
dynamics. The
Yeah,
dynamics
I
might be a
tailor
little
it to that.
different.
And to be fair, I do have a little bit of an improv background. Yeah, way back, I did improv. I did stand up, so I've done some of those
Right.
things. Quick on your
Stand
feet.
up.
Play with the hecklers. I had more fun playing with the hecklers than writing a coherent long set. Because as my family will tell you, I'm a bit sarcastic at times. Sadly, that is not an approved accent or language that you can use on your voiceover resume. I've checked and I've been told no. So,
Oh, it helps for dry and rye.
It
It's a
does.
little bit of sarcasm. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we've come to the best part of the show, perhaps sharing our first job and our worst job.
Oh.
So, Kim, what was your first job?
I mean, first official job, I mean, a babysitter was my first job, right? As we all do, but like the paid job, like the first one, like where
There's something
you're
just
in
more
high
entertaining.
school and you're like, oh, well, it
Uh-huh.
was also my worst job because it was so sexist. I was called,
Babysitting? Oh, no, something.
no, I was called a shop girl. And it was it was at the tennis club, and I was the shop girl. And they called it
Oh,
the shop girl. And I would
sure.
just like write down people's like, times and who they were playing and
Well, it was in a shop and you were the girl. I assume you were just young.
Mm, yeah.
They didn't have a shop boy, obviously.
No, they didn't.
No,
They didn't
no,
call
he's
it shop boy either. So, yeah.
they call it CEO. No, just kidding. Um, DC, what was your first and your worst?
my first paid job was actually radio. My senior year
Fantastic.
at 17, I was in
You got paid?
I was in the DECA program, and we had to get a job. And I said, I want to work in radio, which they had never experienced before. They were trying to get us into offices and meet attorneys,
Uh-huh.
CPAs, and legitimate, respectable jobs. And I'm like,
Sure.
that's just not for me. So they got me they didn't know what to do. So I gave them the number for the number one station in town. So I started working at the number one station in town. And
I got
after about 3 weeks in the research department unpaid, I started picking up shifts on the board,
mm,
getting paid.
There you go.
ah,
And then I was out in the van doing party patrol on the weekends at 17,
ah.
Party Patrol. This is the 80s, isn't it?
early 90s. Yeah,
Oh,
late 80s,
early
early 90s.
90s.
Yep. Party
Okay.
patrol. Now, my worst job, also radio related, I moved to another station. They gave me my own show, and I started working with the engineer as the assistant engineer, keeping the station running, keeping everything maintained. He loaned me out to another engineer in town to help with tower maintenance. So imagine, if you
Mhm,
will, let me paint a scene for you. It's
mhm.
January on the top of a
Oh.
mountain in the snow, and I'm climbing a 175-foot tall tower to get to the 150-foot level to unbolt an antenna, drop it down to the ground, bolt it to a like 100-pound frame next to an identical 150-pound antenna, and then it was all going to go back up and get bolted
Oh.
again in the snow. Fun fact,
You
radio
win.
towers are engineered to move. There is sway built into radio towers. It
Oh,
is
no.
terrifying. Prior to that, I was in the Boy Scouts. I did rappelling. I did mountain climbing. I did all those things. I did tower maintenance on two different jobs, and I no longer like heights. I don't even like step ladders anymore.
Nope. Nope. I'm out.
Yeah, it was just the
You
worst.
had me at Tower.
And then they
Nope.
stiffed me. They didn't pay me for it.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds typical.
I told my
Sorry, but
boss,
that's typical.
please don't give me any more opportunities like that. I don't ever.
Opportunities.
Opportunities.
Yeah, it was horrifying. It was
Oh
terrible.
my gosh. What was your worst one, Natasha?
Well, my first one And I thought a lot of first ones, but I'm going to the funniest one. And that is cleaning toilets and dental instruments at a
Oh,
dentist office.
at the same time.
The same day. Like, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
don't
that was
they?
my first one.
There were no like of those infrared like.
No, it was a whole big hot burning thing you put the instruments in. Like it's a I think it's called a I don't know what it's called. It was a long time
Oh
ago.
my
But
gosh,
it
that's
was like
horrible.
1,000 degrees. You put the instruments in. And
Wow.
anyway, my first worst job was hair salon. And I'll tell you why. Because there were like 3 or 4 receptionists on at once, and there were 5 phones with a cord,
Oh
like it
yeah.
was, conference phones with a cord, and there were like 21 stylists or something. And stylists don't really get along. So there's so much bickering and erasing of appointments and like problems. And it just brought out the worst in me. Um, but my other worst job was at a radio station.
Really? Radio stations are not the thing, you guys. What happened
No.
there?
First of all, they don't pay you, and that the fact that they made you go up on a tower for free, typical. They made you go up on a tower in the snow, typical.
Look how mad she is.
Oh, yeah.
They'll make you do, like, depending on who you are, especially if you're the intern or the last person hired, they will make you shovel shit, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yep.
You have to do like things like literally shovel the owner's shit out of his like outhouse. That's how bad it is. They'll just make you do whatever.
But you'll get a free T-shirt out of it, so it's all good.
Right.
But if it wasn't for the radio station, I wouldn't be in voiceover. So I
Full
always have to
circle.
be like,
Full circle,
yeah,
Natasha. Full circle.
gratitude, attitude.
This is better than radio because we're in control. We can do the
Absolutely.
fun parts.
You work for yourself.
I love doing commercials. Give me a stack of commercials, man. I was brutal with that magnetic tape. You couldn't hear the edits at all. Slice and dice. I love that.
Yeah.
I miss that, and it also makes me feel very old because
Yeah.
nobody uses magnetic tape anymore.
Everyone's like, what? A what?
Yeah.
I learned when I used a razor blade to edit when I learned in college. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was fun, and I have a lot more to talk about, but I don't want to bore our listeners with our stories of complaining about all the jobs we've ever had. Thank you, DC. Cheers
Thank
to you.
Thank you for
And
having me.
we hope that lots of people sign up for popupvo.com because it's fun.
It's fun. It's fun. Come on.
Yeah.
It's such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. So cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
Speechless.